Hey there everyone, it's GG Silver Sun. New location, Destin Harbor. Still, it's chilly this morning, so I'm staying in the car. No shame in my game. Alright. November 23rd, AA thought for the day. I no longer refuse to do anything because I cannot do it to perfection. Many of us alcoholics use the excuse of not being able to do something perfectly to enable us to do nothing at all. We pretend to be perfectionists. We are good at telling people how a thing should be done, but when we come to the effort of doing it ourselves, we balk. We say to ourselves, I might make a mistake, so I'd better let the whole thing slide. In AA, we set our goals high, but that does not prevent us from trying. The mere fact that we will never fully reach these goals does not prevent us from doing the best we can. Have I stopped hiding behind the smokescreen of perfectionism? Yeah, there's a guy that used to say at one of my meetings, in order to be good at something, you got to be willing to be bad at it first. And I love that saying. You know, you got to be willing to be bad at it first, and nobody's good at everything. So that, you know, in AA, you know, they say progress, not perfection. I love that. One day at a time. It's a cinch by the inch or a trial by the mile, so keep it simple. You know, all these little things that make it easy to, you know, to use the old cliche statement, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's legit, you know, that's some serious life stuff. And whereas when I was drinking, they would be cliche because, and I love yesterday we had this, I can't even remember the name of the daily reader that my buddy Brad read from, but it said something like, when we are in worry, it's like we pull this cap down over our head, that the cap of worry, and it goes over our ears, so we can't hear good advice or other people's experience, strength, and hope. So it's important that we don't worry too much, you know. And I love that because it's easy to get stuck in worry and not listen to these little platitudes that seem cliche and cheesy initially, but if we really take them to heart, they are well used and have demonstrated themselves to be of maximum value to the recovering alcoholic and addict. Meditation for the day. In the world ye shall have tribulation. This is a quote from the really big book. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. End quote. Keep an undaunted spirit. Keep your spirit free and unconquered. You can be undefeated and untouched by failure and all its power. By letting your spirit overcome the world, rise above earth's turmoil into the secret chamber of perfect peace and confidence. When a challenge comes to you, remember you have God's help and nothing can wholly defeat you. Wow. You know, and I think about the Old Testament in the really big book. and how it's recently been pointed out how as it is read in the Old Testament, that God's chosen people, were the Hebrews, and that whenever they fell out of favor with God, only Cain raised his fist to God and said, "This is unfair and unjust," and that resentment and bitterness and that hard done by attitude, that victim mentality, took him to the place where he would murder, right? Everyone else said, "We have sinned, we have fallen short," right? How do we correct this? And that's really the attitude that I've learned to take, right? And knowing that God's not mad at me and God hasn't turned his back on me is super important. With that locked in to my understanding of the fabric of reality, right? Everything's a win. Even if it's a loss, it's a learning experience. I think Elon Musk has stated his philosophy is, and I'm not saying that he has a tight relationship with God or acknowledges God much, but his mentality about his business is fail fast and fail often, because that's how we learn, And that aside, again, if I believe that, as I believe that God loves me and will always be there for me as a protector, as a shield, as a loving, eager to forgive, benevolent person, right? Then everything else is just learning. Fall down, get back up again, trudge on. And that lesson has probably been one of, if not the most important lesson I've learned in life. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may have confidence and be of good cheer. I pray that I may not fear the power of failure. Boom! That's a great summary. I didn't even know that was coming. That's a great summary of what I just said, so I'll leave it there. Love y'all. Keep coming back. Chin up, aim up, rise up.